Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me. My name is Jen, and I've been a Driveaway driver here for the past few months. So I get quite a few messages in my DMs and stuff, basically asking me, Jen, how do you get back without a tow car? Like, how do you make any money if you don't have a tow vehicle behind you? And it's actually not as bad as people have probably led you to believe. I know when I first got into this, a lot of people were like, don't do it, you're going to waste your money, you're going to get a tow card, run it to the ground, and you're going to spend all your money getting back to Goshen and blah, blah, blah. And that is true if you don't do this correctly. Okay, I've been saying it since day one. There is a method to this madness. And once you figure out what to look for in a load and do some planning before you book that load, you will make a profit. You will make money on this. My prime example, one of my more popular videos here on YouTube is my first load with Horizon was horrible. And that wasn't Horizon's fault. But it was just me not planning. I didn't pre-plan any of it. I just booked it because I was heading down to where I lived. So that was my fault because I didn't plan. And I spent a good chunk of my profits getting back to Goshen. And I kind of did that on purpose to prove a point, right? We can all agree on that. That was dumb. But I did it on purpose, right? So, my second load, it doesn't have as many views, okay? But it was actually much better because I planned. I had a $45 trip from Boston back to Midway. I had a lot more profits. But that video isn't as popular. So there's this huge misconception about Driveaway, in my opinion. Yes, you can make money in this, but you can't just look at the cents per mile and look at the mileage and just go. You have to plan. That's all you got to do, guys. It's so simple. Okay, so here's some of the things that I look at before I say yes to a load. So I'm going to go over those with you here in this video. Okay, so the first thing you want to look at is location. Where is the load that you are looking at that you want to take? Where is it dropping off at? Is it in a major metropolitan area, major city? Is it like just outside of Dallas, just outside of Phoenix? Or are you looking at like BFE, Nebraska? Okay, these are things you got to look at. Because if you don't have a tow car, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys stay close to major cities, because you're going to have more availability with Uber. You're going to have more options with public transportation, such as trains or buses or taxis or anything like that. You're going to have a lot more options and a lot easier options to get back to the airport or to the rental or whatever you are doing to get back to Goshen, okay? So the first thing you want to do is check on Google Maps to where the drop-off is. That is number one. That is your number one priority. Okay, don't take a load that's like out in the boondocks of Wyoming, because you are going to destroy your profits trying to get back to the closest city. Make sure your location is close to a major city, okay? Number two, you need to figure out what's going to be the cheapest way for you to get back. Do you want to take a bus? Do you want to take Amtrak? Do you want to take a plane? Or do you want to take a rental? Those are really your four main options, okay? Right now, because of COVID, Southwest has been running these incredible prices on flights heading back to Midway, Chicago. Okay, Midway, Chicago is about 2 hours away from Goshen. Straight shot either on the toll road on 80, or you can take 20, the Highway 20 across. Either way, okay? It is cheaper. It is literally cheaper right now for me to fly into Midway in Chicago on Southwest and then take a rental from Midway to Goshen. Literally cheaper, okay? Than if I were to fly into Goshen or to fly into South Bend or even to Indianapolis, okay? So check the flights. Even if you, let's say you drop on a Saturday, make sure you check a couple of days after You know, don't check just Saturday, check Sunday, check Monday, because they might have one day where it's $89 and then the next day it's $45. So make sure you check a couple days to see, okay, would it be cheaper for me just to hang out here for a couple extra days, or should I just go ahead and get on the flight and head home? Okay, so make sure you check flights. Amtrak is usually cheaper, but it's going to take you forever. The bus is usually cheaper, but bus is usually cheapest, but it is going to take you days. It's going to take you days to get back to Goshen. So if that's something you're okay with, just keep that in mind. It's going to take you a lot longer. Rental cars are expensive, okay? They have this thing, this magical one-way rental thing called a drop fee. The farther away you are and the more days that you are having the vehicle, the more expensive that fee becomes, okay? It is insane. Rental cars should be your absolute last resort. If you have no other way to get home, that should be your absolute last resort, okay? Because you're going to spend the majority of your profits on that rental, okay? So right now, the cheapest and the quickest is Southwest, okay? I recommend Southwest. You get one free, I think you get 2 free bags. No. You get 1 free checked bag and 2, like a carry-on and a personal bag free for $45. I mean, I will take that rental any day to get back to Goshen. It's so much cheaper doing it that way right now than it is for heading straight to Goshen or straight to South Bend. So make sure you check flights, okay? Make sure that you check how to get back to the airport, if that's the option you're going to take. Okay, a lot of major cities have Uber and Lyft. Those are your options. Those are going to be probably your cheaper options. There is a way to check, like if you are in a city that has like a train system or a metro system, like DC or New York City or Chicago. There is an app called Rome to Rio that will absolutely change your life. Airline tickets on this app are just, don't even bother, because they're always really, really expensive. The app is super good for checking like what bus line you got to get on, what train line you got to get on, what times they leave, you know, how much it is, if it costs anything, that kind of thing. The app is phenomenal. I highly recommend you guys get it, okay? I've heard a lot of people use Snap Travel as well. If you need a hotel room for whatever reason, Hotel Tonight is pretty good. You know, there's a lot of different websites and apps that you can use. It's really personal preference. I've noticed that Hotwire is starting to like not be as good as it used to be. They are charging, by the time all the fees and stuff hit, you are like right back to where you were if you just booked it directly through the hotel chain, okay? But yeah, those are probably your 2 major things. Is first, check the location, and then second, check airline tickets, because that's going to be your fastest, and that's going to get you the most profits in the long run, because it'll get you back to Goshen quicker, and then you can go and pick up a next load quicker, if that makes sense. Let's talk about safety for a second. I am a solo female traveler. You know, being a truck driver is something I took very seriously. You know, I've been in some pretty shady areas, been in some pretty shady truck stops, and I did everything I could to lower the percentage of anything happening to me. You know, so I personally have to keep my safety in mind, right? So I typically don't use public transportation. I would rather spend a few extra dollars to use like an Uber or a rental to get around, rather than use a train or a bus system. I'm not saying that everybody that uses those systems are bad people. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just, for my own safety, to help kind of prevent anything from happening, potentially, that's just what I use. So make sure that you don't go so cheap that you're going to put yourself at risk. because it's not worth it, guys. You know, there was one time I got back to Chicago. My flight was delayed. Got back to Chicago. It was 10 o'clock at night. I was going to use the train system to get to, I can't remember the route, but it was going to hook me up to basically get back to Goshen using strictly public transportation because I wanted to try it, right? And I decided not to. Even though it would have been $70 cheaper, I decided, you know what, it's not worth it. It's late at night. I'm in downtown Chicago, essentially. Not worth it, you know. So, yeah, just don't go so cheap that you're just gonna, you know, don't be so hard on the money if it puts yourself at risk, okay? Just keep that in mind. Because you don't know these areas probably, you know, so... Anyways, those are really the two major things that you need to make sure that you look at before you say yes to your dispatcher about a load. Those are the two things I always check before. And hey, if you kind of look through and see and you find out that somebody took it while you're looking, that's fine. You know, don't get upset. Don't skip those steps. Because if you skip the steps, you're not going to make any money. Okay, I promise you. And then you will blame Driveaway for not making any money. Okay, so don't be one of those people. Always check. Always, you know, see the location, check flights, make sure that there's going to be a pretty cheap option, or a reasonable option even, and then go from there. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys a little bit. There's a lot more that I could talk about, but I don't want to make this a 4-hour long video. But those are the two major things that you need to check before you say yes to a load. I hope that helps you guys a little bit. If you guys have any questions about this, leave them down below. I'd be happy to answer anything that I can. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode. And I hope everyone is doing well. And please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And I will see you guys next week.